Are you listening?
Woo! Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, look.
Ooh.
You gonna drink coffee out of the sleeves?
Oh yeah, why not?
Look, we got Apprentice here. Woo.
How's it going?
Hey.
Doing pretty good. You
Good
made
to
it.
see you. I made it.
Just in
Good to see you,
time.
Cookie Dude. How you doing?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I'm laughing because his memories are jarred and I feel bad. You guys met before, Cookie Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the guy. I'm the guy that used to live up there near you in Chilcoot.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. That's hard to forget.
Yeah.
Captain Waffles.
Woo woo. James Willis. Woohoo. Welcome. So we got an interesting show today because someone was wanting to know, how do you play Magic the Gathering for a noob? And I'm like, how do you simplify Magic? So in the description, I made as simple as possible. So when I read it, I will read it. I wanted to say, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Super Fast Tortoise, which is officially sponsored by cardsutopia.com, where you can buy sweet Magic the Gathering dice bags like this for $45 plus $5 ship, or you have vinyl line dice bags, or you can get strawberry bags, or you can get lapel pins, or you can get cool commander plates, cool pictures like these, like customized. Yeah, and on limited time, you can get Dragon Tails. Boop, boop, boop. You can find it all at cardsutopia.com. Link in the description below. And oops, we lost the default.
For some reason, I'm frozen.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
I turned my fan on, and now I'm frozen.
All
All right, I'm going to leave and come right back.
right, you do that.
Yeah.
Well,
Streaming.
look. All right. Boom.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there he is.
There you go. And you got your crazy background going on with monsters and everything in the back.
Yeah.
It's honor of my my Stranger Things deck that I'm going to be playing this weekend.
Woo! Stranger Things. Stranger
Yeah.
Things has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of excited for the 5th season to come out and hopefully tie up the rest of the story.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And I want to show my respects to the people in New Jersey today who just went through a 4.5 earthquake that's being all shouted out throughout the news broadcasts and YouTubes and everything.
Yeah. But,
You know,
yeah. 4.7, 4.5.
Wow.
right?
It's pretty rare for that part of the country. And
For that area,
we had earthquakes here in Plumas County.
Mm-hmm.
It went from I don't know, from Susanville to Quincy to I don't know. But I didn't feel anything here.
Oh. Yeah. Your hand's on the computer again.
Oh, my hand. Yeah.
Making
Sorry.
that scratch sound. It's really scratchy, but yeah, you're good. You're good. You're new to the computer. Using your computer as a microphone. That's what we're hearing.
Yeah.
All right. That stage. Look at that. Hillbilly's back. Game and Bob. Woo woo.
For some odd reason, it's weird because I just turned my fan on and then I froze up.
Ooh.
Then,
Maybe it was too cold.
apparently. And then when I tried to log back on, saying I need to close other applications, and I don't have nothing else running.
Jeez.
Hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Splitting up your stream, your Uh, God, there goes my mind again.
You're good. Just relax. Enjoy
Yep.
the show.
Yeah,
Because you're new to Magic.
yeah,
You're gonna be new. You're gonna be newer to Magic.
yeah.
So today's show is all about talking about the super basics. But before we get into the super basics, we gotta first get to the first segment of the day. Yeah, Billy.
Will that be the
Card of the day. Combo breaker.
Right there. Railway Brawler.
Really?
Yeah, Railway Brawler.
oh,
Got 3 generic, 2 green, 5/5 creature rhino warrior, reach trample. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under control, put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is that creature's power. Which is pretty
oh,
Yeah.
ouch!
And you can plot this card for 4 mana. 4
That's-
mana.
That is going. That's powerful. Very powerful.
Oh yeah. Like, can you imagine playing Childred off of this?
Yeah.
She's already tough. Make her tougher,
Oh yeah. Very much.
Mhm. But yeah, this card's pretty cool. I like the fact the Rhino Warrior. I think the Rhino's supposed to be from New Capenna or something.
Uh-huh.
It looks beastly. Beastly. And for the pictures of the day, we got it's Friday. High five.
Uh-huh.
This is a picture when Hillbilly was a little kid.
But I only count 4.
Right. Then to make it through Friday, coffee you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coffee you need.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Coffee. Or should I say, to make it through Friday, coffee you need. Okay, I'm horrible at Yoda. All right. And here's how we feel at work. Coffee. Me on a bleak Friday morning. Coffee's holding me up and I'm barely struggling to survive. Oh, man, just remember there was a card of the day.
I'm thinking about how many people's hasty commanders are suddenly going to be deadly when they come onto the battlefield.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5/5 for 5. It's not bad. Mana cost goes with the power. Good.
Mm.
Yep.
And it has reach. 5/5 with reach and trample.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
That's pretty good. It's pretty solid. Pretty like he makes 3/3s into 6/6s. He makes 2/2s into 4/4s. That's pretty neat. Like 2 mana 2/2s when it comes to play as a 4/4. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Now what if you plot this and you have another one on the battlefield?
Mm-hmm.
That one that you plotted is going to come in as a 10/10.
Yep. Well, no. If you have 2 of these on the battlefield, whenever another creature enters the battlefield, yeah, this will come as a play as a 10/10. It won't double. You're right.
Right.
That's probably why the creature's not legendary. It doesn't stack. Interesting thesis of an idea. All right. I keep doing stuff. Let's unclick that. So today's topic is how do you explain Magic to the basic term? So can we talk about how to play Commander? Magic the Gathering is as simple as possible. Like step 1, have a deck. Learn to shuffle up to 99 cards. Really good. Shuffle 99 cards really good. Sometimes that's a whole trick in itself.
Mm-hmm.
The play space in front of you is called the battlefield. That's where non-instant and sorcery cards go. Instant and sorceries are one-time use cards that once you play them, they go into a discard pile called the graveyard. The graveyard is where permanent cards go when they are destroyed from the battlefield. Then always remember to draw a card at the beginning of your turn. The turns simplified are like this. At the beginning of your turn, untap any permanent that might have been used the turn prior. Any creature, any land, and or artifact permanents cards are cards that don't go to the graveyard when you play them. Lands, enchantments, artifacts, battles, planeswalkers, and creatures. Then after making sure your battlefield is reset, then draw one card per turn. The turn simplified goes like this. 1. Untap step. 2. Upkeep. 3. Draw step. 4. Main phase. This is where you can play your sorcery speed spells and the land for turn. 5. Attack step. 6. Block or declare step. 7. Combat damage phase. Then 8. Main phase 2. This is where you can play sorcery speed spells some more. Then 9. You got the end step and end of turn. Now repeat this process over and over again to progress the game until the game is won by someone and more steps to consider and interaction to have. Let's open the floor for more advice and more thoughts on how to simply and explain in the most simple terms how to play Magic together. Whew, I hope I did a good job there.
You started to fade out quite a little bit there at the end. I would add that I think you have to simplify it even more than that. I think my way of approaching is to talk to the person first and see what they want to do.
Mhm.
Because even with the description, there were a lot of words that wouldn't make sense to somebody.
Mhm.
So my introduction, I maybe talked about this on here before. My introduction to the game was absolutely horrible in that I walked into a game store, and the guy's, "Oh, do you play Magic?" And I said, "No, what's that?" And it's like, "Oh, well, you're two wizards and you make you make a deck and you fight each other."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, weirdos, I'm just here to get a chess set. I'll be back over here or whatever."
Right. Right.
So when later on somebody actually talked to me about the game, it was a situation where the person asked me what I might like to do.
Mhm.
And so if depending on who it is or how you want to approach the situation or whatever, you might ask them, like, if you were a powerful wizard, what would you want to do? How would you fight a battle, or how would you do something? Or, if they play D&D, if they play other things, like, if you were a druid, what would you like to do would you like to summon animals? Would you like to do that? And I think the basics of the game need to be explained in the simplest way that your audience member, whoever that might be, whoever you're showing, would
Mhm.
understand it, and then start building from that.
Right, that's a good way. Yes, first of all, I want to say playing the game explains the game. So they do have rules text cards that have the phases on them. You want to start playing the game to practice the game. Conversating during the game. If you're new, don't be afraid to let your opponents know what's in your hand if you have a question. Because usually when you're first starting, you're playing with a friend who really wants you to be in the game. So have a really good outlook and a brain space to think about someone else over yourself. If you're the experienced player teaching a new player, don't try to troll a player, but really try to get them engaged.
Right.
Let's see, Bob. Simplified playing MTG by playing Lorcana instead. Huh. I don't know if that's a joke or if he's saying it's a simple way of playing Magic. Best question to ask new players to see their style. Do you want to have friends or do you want to play blue? Huh. Can't we have both?
Nope.
Tortoise likes playing blue. You can play blue with having friends. Just don't run counter spells. It's possible. Oh my lord. So, simple interactions. Like when you get a deck, one of the first things you want to do is learn to shuffle your deck. If you're playing Commander, you got a thick deck, about that thick. It's 9 cards. Really kind of tough to shuffle. Learn to shuffle the deck. It'll help you get into the randomization of the game. But always remember to ask every step of the game. If you're trying to remember the beginning upkeep step, the upkeep step to the untap step to the draw step, always ask what's in order and how it goes, because you want to be able to expand upon the game, but you want to instill these habitual thoughts that how the game works makes sense. Because like you have instants that are spells that can be played at instant speed, like you can play any step on your turn and your opponent's turn. Then you have sorceries that can only be played on your first main phase or your second main phase. The first main phase happens before combat. The second main phase happens after combat. You get 2 chances a turn to play spells. You can play spells on both the first and second main phase, and that's for you to decide when you get more experience in the game how you want to distribute those spells. But it's always fun to start with the basics. And always remember to draw your card at the beginning of your turn. In a multiplayer game, for sure, if you're playing 4 people, you're always drawing a card at the beginning of your turn. After your tap step, after your upkeep step. No, that's a common thing people forget to do a lot, is to draw that first card.
So when you shuffle your cards, you shuffle them like playing cards, or is there a special way to shuffle them? You
That's
just
an interesting question. It kind of depends. Yes, they shuffle just like playing cards normally would, with the exception of the fact that, as you see with super fast, they have a different color to them. They're inside sleeves. So when you have the plastic sleeves, they behave differently. And you'll notice how when he shuffles that, he's taking his palm to palm and starting to push the colors from the back a little bit. If you hold them loosely in your hand, they'll spread a little bit. And sliding them in backwards from the back will do that. If your cards are facing each other, sometimes those sleeves, maybe hold it up where you can see the edge of the sleeve. The edge will catch on the front. There's an opening at the top of it, but no opening at the bottom. So he's doing it in the back. So the backs are going to go together and slide. If you do it one to the top to the back, it'll peel the card back or maybe damage the edges of the cards. So that's something that's kind of subtle and particular to playing a trading card game that is going to be in sleeves.
Yes.
Okay. So first thing, so I got a deck here and I got sleeves. So first thing I do is put the cards in the sleeves.
Yeah, get those things ready.
Okay. And when you draw a card, you just take anything, just got to draw from the top, or you draw
top of the deck. Yep, draw from the top.
Okay.
Draw from the top of the deck. Drawing a card is taking the top card of your deck and putting into your hand like you would in poker, so you can read the card and see the card.
Okay.
That's a good point too. Actually, super fast is another thing to do is find whoever it might be. In this case, Cookie Dude, or whoever their experience level is with card games, and liken it to that as much as possible. Because you'll find what's going to work for them a little bit better, and it'll make sense if it falls into place. Like you said, you're going to be drawn off the top of the deck the same way you would a poker hand or whatever. It's going to be dealt from the top always.
Right.
There are cards, and it's also important, I think, along the way to explain too that the rules text, the text of the card, will sometimes break rules that are already established.
Right.
So people need to be ready to find that or to see that in the game, because you can spend 20 minutes explaining the rules to somebody, and all of a sudden they said like, well, this card does that, and suddenly they're like, well, you can't do that. You just told me you can't. Like, well, this card says I can. So you got to be. That's terrible. These are green. Oh, there we go. I was going to say they disappeared in my background. Wow. Anyhow, sorry, I'm easily distracted. But yeah, so I mean that's the other thing too. Find the common ground with other card games that people are used to playing, and start with that. So
one thing I wanted to touch base on, because you were saying something that triggered a thought, is with Magic, there is a set of rules that the game is based around, like a strict set of rules, right? And the point of the cards is to break those rules, right? Like I know it sounds weird, but like if you like the big game of Magic is a box, the rules, and the point is to think outside the box with the Magic cards that you have. I mean, like you're allowed to play one land per turn only. You're allowed to draw one card per turn only. But there are cards that let you play extra lands, and there are cards that let you draw extra cards. And that's as simple as I can do it. Because you can play as many creatures and spells as your mana, which comes from your lands. Your lands tap to add a magical thing called mana, and your mana is to cast the spells, and you can cast as many spells as your mana allows you to. The mana is used one time use per turn and is resetted every turn when you untap all your stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you only can play one land per turn unless you got something out to let you play more than one.
Right. And Captain Waffle says Everdell is a great game for teaching Magic. Has a lot of Magic interactions in a simple form to understand and transfer to Magic. It's how I taught my daughter. Yeah, Everdell is a really good game, and it is very Magic centric. And like for Cookie Dude, I wouldn't suggest that for himself because that's a whole different ballpark. I had to teach him Magic first, then get him into Everdell. But Everdell is a really good game if you're a board game minded person. You'll catch on to the things quickly if you've played Everdell and played Magic.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yes. So I got to get everything set up. I don't have. I mean, do you need dice to play Magic? Or
You need a way to track your life, which can be pen and paper,
uh-huh.
and you need a way to dice. You don't need dice, but dice are easiest to use to represent counters on creatures. Which I know your red, black, white deck. Your not Thalia, the angel, the piss me off angel. What's her name? The one I can't remember her name, but when she attacks, she puts an angel, demon, or dragon from your hand into play.
Call you the best.
Yeah,
Call ya.
Thalia. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I built him a basic Kalia deck for a beginner.
Good.
Because when she cheats creatures in the way, and she lets you do stuff, but I made it as simplified as I could. And so, and he has a dragon deck that looks simple that he ordered himself. So you're going to start with one deck, Dad. You're going to choose one deck. You're going to start with one deck. You're going to learn Magic with one deck. All right.
Okay.
Do not try to break into two decks. All right.
Okay.
I would suggest the best thing to start with is the red-green deck you bought. Because it's only two colors.
Okay. Yeah.
3 colors is a little stretch. More advanced step into Magic. Right?
Okay.
And I know for a fact that Hillbilly and I have pre-constructed decks that can match the power level.
Mm-hmm.
Tabal can play, and Tabal's a good player too, and he's good at playing the power level as well.
I'm fair to Midland. I've been doing it for a long time, but another thing to do that's sometimes helpful, I think, is also just breaking down the interactions before they're even seen in the game. Something that my wife and I are going over on a regular basis, and I'm trying to find a way, and I'm maybe hoping that you guys have a suggestion for how to do it, is getting down the combat steps in terms of what to think about, because that can be intimidating if it's not just a straight interaction between attack and block or whatever. Like it doesn't break down that simple,
right?
Necessarily,
right. So Dad's decks are Commander. He's still working on a setup to play Commander for sure. Because Bob was asking what format's Cookie Dude's deck. Well, since we all have Commander decks and Commander is like the main way to play, I built him a Commander deck and he's ordered himself a Commander deck. I helped him choose the red-green deck. Like I looked through the list. It has some complicated interactions, but the deck's kind of old enough that it's still simplified, so we can help them learn the game through that experience.
Right.
You know, because red green is really good. Green's a good color to start with, right?
Right.
Because it helps you ramp. Sometimes there's draw on those decks, but you're running a Tarka, the World Render. All right, your commander is pretty powerful for combat, and
Yes.
combat's one thing you want to learn and perfect because you got your combat step, you got your attacker's declare phase, you got your blocking step, and you got your damage phase. That's all that jazz.
Yeah. So uh, once I get the very basics together, uh, and I think you gave me a mat to play on.
Yeah.
But then I got to figure a way how to get a camera to come down on the deck on the
Oh yeah.
mat.
I
I don't
believe I
have
gave
that. I don't have that set up yet.
Right. That's something you'll have to work
I
on.
mean, I do have a tripod that I could kind of use. Because this new computer I have doesn't have a port for a camera.
What?
Mm.
No, it doesn't have a USB port.
No, it just has. I think it has. I don't know. It doesn't have a USB port. It just has. Oh yeah, it does.
Okay, that's what you need there.
Yep.
It has one USB port and it has power port to charge it, and then it has a port for headphones, and then there's another port which I don't know what it's for.
It's
Yeah.
probably an HDMI port.
And
Yeah.
if you want to later when you can, to make the spell table a little easier, get you arm or something like that to hold a camera on.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So your camera is the main thing you need. You need to have a good arm because, like a tripod, like I use a tripod and I have to use a program to flip the
Oh.
image around.
Oh,
Spell
okay.
table can switch it
Well,
around.
Yeah. Once I get. So you want me to start with this? With this one?
Yeah, so I want you to start with that one because that one will be easier to learn.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
It's only two colors.
Yes. Yeah, because like your Kalia deck is pretty simple for a deck, but the interactions are a little more complicated than the red green deck.
Yeah. And the commander deck you bought me, I got for Christmas. It has three colors, right?
Yeah, the one I have three colors, minus green, minus blue. So that one's gonna have more harder to engage interactions like paying life to draw cards, having ways to cheat in creatures, having to get perfect mana fixing. It's more of a tougher deck to navigate. So simplified as possible, but more tougher to navigate. And the community here, people in the community helped build this deck. I did a whole live a long time ago building the deck. Like I built it a little more complicated than after the live. I simplified it some more because I'm trying to think of new players and interactions because I love some life losing interactions.
Is there decks that are simple, where the cards are really simple, and then there's like more advanced cards that are more complicated?
Yeah, so
I mean,
there's a slew of both.
Yep.
okay.
You're rubbing the laptop.
Oh, there I go. I don't know. Sorry.
You're good.
Sorry, guys.
It's just a habitual habit. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that you're going to do. Like Torta said, you want to learn the deck first, and then later on, you may want to to upgrade it and change it. And that's pretty much, I want to say, what everybody does. Maybe not. I mean, maybe some people keep their stuff in the pre-constructed format, but generally speaking, most everybody, and that's kind of the name of the game, is you start with one thing, you start at one level, and then later on they print different things, or you find different things, or you see different things that you decide could make your deck stronger. And that's when you start swapping out cards and you make it. But it's good to learn it first at a basic level, and then you start worrying about upgrading it and doing better and more powerful things later.
Yeah.
So before sorry.
No, you're good.
So before I even think about playing, should I go through the cards and read each one and see what is what? Because I still don't understand what mana is.
Right.
I know mana is power, right?
Nope.
Yes. Well, it's a way to think of it.
Yes.
This is
a way
a
to
Don't
think
show
of
them
it.
that. Don't show them that. That's a complicated basic.
well, it's just a regular. All this is mana. This is what is mana. Your lands.
Look, his lines are not going to look like that.
Oh, well,
If you think about mana, a way to think about mana, or the way that I explain mana, is that think about mana as being energy that so it's like it's a battery to power something. So if you want to do something like this card, you'll see up in the corner it has different pips. So it will tell you what kind of energy you need to use it. So you'll see a small tree right there. So I need one of these that has a tree on it, or maybe it doesn't have that or whatever, but it's going to be something that says forest. So you're going to tap this. You're going to use the energy out of it. So it's going to be on the board this way to start with. Then you're going to say, okay, I'm going to use this energy, and so I'm going to deplete it so that it's laying down. It's not working anymore. It's tired. It's spent.
Okay.
So I'm going to spend this one mana to fulfill the one green pip that's here. And then there's a 3. You can't see it, but there's a 3 with a gray circle there. So that could be anything else. That could be any other. I happen to have just a solid green deck here, so that's a bad example. But any other color can be used to fill in the rest of those numbers. So this total number, when you look at it, it has something what's called a converted mana cost. You don't need to remember that or whatever. You just need to remember, okay, there you go. That thing that he has up on the screen right now.
Yeah.
The CMC for that is total of 5. So it's going to be 2 forest. So you need 2 cards that oops. Oh, and it disappears when I take my hand away. Anyhow, you'll have to tap 2 forest.
Okay.
And then 3 other lands. So you're energizing that thing. You're energizing or doing that thing. So to do that, you're going to tap 5 land cards roughly. Now there's other ways to get around this later, whatever, but it's best to deal with those things on a situational basis. Don't deal with those every time or whatever. The easiest way, the simplest way, again, to think about it is tap 5 lands. 2 of them have to be forest to do that spell, to put that creature on the table. So think about your mana as being, those are all just batteries you're putting on the ground basically to use later.
All right. Yeah. Hold on a second.
I explain it a little different. I do always to new players. All right, this total cost is 5, right? So you have to pay 5, but 2 of those have to be green. And you tap your land as a way of paying money. You know, you think of your land as money, and you have to pay 5, and 2 of those has to be green to play this spell.
So where do you get the green from? Do you just dig through the deck until you find a green, or?
It has to be in your hand from the beginning of the game. So we've mentioned a couple of times that you could only play 1 land per turn.
Yeah.
So you slowly build up over time, and then you get to be able to do bigger and bigger things. For example, there's very seldom you would be able to play this card the first turn.
Right.
There's some crazy shenanigan stuff that, it's not worth talking about because it would be very hard. It wouldn't be impossible. There's always things that break the rules, like we said before. But that card that you initially were looking at, would
Yeah.
require you to have 5 lands on the board. So you wouldn't be able to play it until turn 5, roughly.
Oh,
Again,
wow.
exceptions to
Okay.
everything, but it would take you 5, but it's really powerful. So
Right.
you'd have to wait for that payoff.
Right. So the number and 2 green trees on the top right of the card is the converted mana cost. It's about the same. 3 can be any color of mana. The 2 greens have to be green.
Okay. So the trees are green always.
Yep, always
Okay.
green. And there's red lands like this forest. There's red lands called mountains. There's white lands called plains. Blue lands called broken, and black lands called swamp.
Don't listen to them. Blue lands or islands.
But anyways, so like when you see a card like this, which you'll see cards like this in your red green deck, those are the batteries, or those are the energy, or those are the cards that show you how much mana you can produce to cast this Railway Brawler.
Okay.
All right. I was trying to reiterate on it to hopefully what Hillbilly said and DeBalt said kind of blends in together and makes sense more together with what everything is. Because
Right.
like you see downward in the text box below, the text box is where all the text is. In the middle of the card, basically, you see a plot ability. Well, don't worry about the ability right now, but you see there's a three generic, or a number 3 with a tree by it.
Yeah.
That means that ability can be paid by 3 generic, or 3 of any mana, and one fourth one that has to be green.
Yep.
And so no matter where you are when you're looking at a card, or where it is on the card, the number always tells you how much mana, and the pips tell you what additional mana needs to go into that.
Okay. So yeah, I see this +3, and then 3. I can't read it because I can't blow it up any bigger.
You're good.
But so you got the 3 and the 2 trees on top, and then you have the 5/5 down the bottom. Do
Right.
they always have to match?
No. The power and toughness, which is at the bottom,
Yeah.
which you'll be explained later what
Okay.
power and toughness is. They're not always going to match. The mana cost is saying this is how much this card costs to play, to cast, to put from your hand onto the battlefield.
I'm going to go back to your initial question, Coogie Dude. At the very first thing that you asked was, should you read all the cards in there?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't try to read all the cards in there because they're going to be difficult, but I would skim them and I would look at them and just glance over, because if you read it, you may be trying to commit it to memory or whatever, but I would look at some general things first of all. So maybe the things that are important are, like you said, the things at the top there. That's how much something is going to cost to get out. You were asking about the numbers on the bottom. Now, the numbers on the bottom only apply to this one because it's a creature. So there's basic card types. So I think the best place probably to start is, what are the basic 6 different types or 7 different types of cards there are? And those are described in the middle of the card. Like if you look at the middle of that, it says creature, rhino. So creature is what it is. That's one of the basic types. And then the name afterwards tells you what type of creature it is. So there are going to be other cards that are going to have different text there. Something they may say artifact, and that just means it's a magical item. It's a piece of equipment, or it's something that's a inanimate object. Sometimes it's animated, but it's an inanimate object that's going to set on the battlefield. So that's an artifact is another type. There are types as far as spells, such as instants and sorceries. The main difference between that is an instant is something that can be done anytime, and a sorcery can only be done at certain times.
Oh, okay.
So looking at
Wow.
those things, familiarizing yourself with those basic things is a good place to start. So I wouldn't necessarily say, like I said, read every card top to bottom, and expect to know them, but just a general idea of like, oh, this is an artifact. This kind of behaves this way. A creature behaves this way. Another thing about instants and sorceries are, like Tortoise said earlier, they're a one-time use thing. You only get a benefit from them for a moment, and then they get thrown away unless it says something different on the card.
Right.
Oh.
And there are plenty of videos on YouTube that can teach you how to play lands, play spells, use mana. There's plenty of videos on how to play Magic. We're just trying to get you the basics to get you more comfortable into it.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
there are some people who just do it better. We just want you to get more comfortable into the idea. Because, like, you're going to read it, like, if you go through your deck right now, your green-red deck, and just start reading every card, you're going to be speaking and reading in a different language. Half of it's not going to make sense. Half of it will make sense now. So, like I said, playing the game, having someone to play with, one player at a time can help you with questions. One person can help you with questions. You can always ask questions and help.
Yep.
Okay.
Where's that music
Yeah.
coming from?
Yeah, I'm getting to understand that there's even the basic game. There's still a lot to learn. There's a lot. I mean, I said once I get familiar with it, it will get easier and I can get more complicated. But I just got to start with baby steps. Get a,
And don't expect or don't try to take it all in one big chunk. Just smaller bites. You know what I mean? It's like eating an elephant. You can do it, but it just takes a little while. So you just start with learning little things like that. Maybe the first time you go through those cards, that if you open up the pack and you look at them, maybe since we talked today, maybe just kind of familiarize yourself with what mana costs on things are. Like you kind of seen what a land is today and how a land relates to the top of the card. Maybe look at the cards and think about, like, well, how come these don't have like some of the cards, like an artifact, for example, can generally be paid with any color mana. It doesn't have to have a land. It doesn't have to have something that matches it. It just has like a number in gray. It just has a gray there, number 2. So it means anything can do it. A forest could do it. A mountain could do it. Anything could do it. So maybe just familiarize yourself, first of all, with the lands and the idea that those are going to cost different things.
Yeah, that's one thing about being a new player. You have to take your time to learn the game, and it does take time to learn how to play the game until you get used to the game. After you get used to learning how the game is played, then it gets easier.
But that's like almost like anything. Once if you're not familiar with it, then you become familiar with it, and it becomes easier for you to figure out.
Yep.
Because the goal of the game is to be the last man standing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is this? Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering.
Is this like instructions?
Yeah, there's some instructions in the deck a bit. Yeah, and I want to say hello, Richie Dubs.
What's up, Richie?
You also play lines in front of your creatures and permanents on the battlefield. That's right. Don't...
Oh, okay.
There's actually even, it may not be on the one that you have, but there are actually play mats that actually come with I won't say they necessarily come with the instructions on there, but they come with reminders across the top of what each phase is. and tell you where to place your stuff. They tell you to place your deck here. When you throw away your discard pile is actually called your graveyard in this game. So when something refers to the graveyard or whatever, it just means your discard pile. So there are mats like that that actually have the things laid out on it too that are sometimes a good reminder.
I think I've seen Tortoise as one of those play mats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a reminder place on my old playmat. The one I had before I got the new playmat. Huge playmat. It's a big playmat like the one you're getting here, Billy.
Nope.
But yeah, so like reminder places. Like always, it's always fun to read. Well, it's always not always fun to learn. Sometimes reading gets annoying, but sometimes you have to read, learn, get into the thing of it. But like the best way to learn is to start playing the game, start stepping it through one at a time. Just don't feel bad about yourself if you don't understand something. Do not feel bad about yourself if something makes no sense. Do not feel bad about it if you're not catching on to it right away. Not everything's going to be easy. It's the legwork. The legwork is not going to always be easy to learn, especially from a very new front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this top card here is at Kabar World Render. It 5, and then I don't know what the mother. I can't read it. And then there's a tree, and then on the bottom it says 6/4.
Right.
So that 6/4 in the bottom corner lets you know that it's a creature because it has a power and toughness. So right away, some of these are kind of shortcuts that you'll kind of get to understand it. So if you look in the middle, it'll tell you it's a creature, but it will also probably tell you what type it is. Is there a type?
Right.
there?
Yeah. This is a dragon.
It's a dragon.
Okay.
Nope.
It's a dragon deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And what did you say the casting cost was for it?
5.
5. So was it 1 green and it's a green and a mountain? Okay, so 1 green and a mountain. So that the casting cost that is actually 7. It's 5 plus those other 2. So your grand total is 7. So that adds up to 7. One of them has to be a mountain. One of them has to be a forest, and then 5 can be anything else.
Oh, okay, because it's gray.
So green red dragon.
That number on the gray is
Okay. All right. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start just looking through those and find my mat. And I'm still quite a ways away from playing.
But you'll get there. It'll just take time learning because we're new.
Yeah. Yeah, but I can go on YouTube and watch other people play.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's you guys are going to play. You know,
well, Saturdays is the best time to catch us.
Yep.
If you want to play.
Fridays?
Saturday.
Yeah, and I'm doing dials Saturday morning. So
all right, so we'll definitely make a day for you to play. That's during the week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we want you to start playing and getting fun. So next week we'll find a good day for you to play.
All righty.
All right. So you can probably get a game in once a week. Start getting you in. Maybe you'll get mom sucked into the world of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, arena does help some, but transferring that to papers for some people it's kind of hard.
Arena, Kookadoo was playing Arena before his old laptop got broke.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like if he wanted to go through the time to get his account back, like passwords and stuff, he could start playing again to learn the simple basics of it.
Yep.
Right. The most complicated game in the world. It's one of the most complicated games in the world. It's only complicated as the cards are.
Yep.
And that's the truth. All right. So now we are going to roll into the shill section because we are about an hour in and we've had a full conversation. Everything's exciting. Now let's get to Tybalt.
Hey, all right. Well, the only thing I plan on shilling is your guys' commander games this Saturday. I'm going to try to attend both Hillbillies commander game earlier in the afternoon and Tortoises later on. I guess not the only thing I'll shill. I'll tell you guys to follow me on Instagram, Tybalt_apprentice. I'm going to be opening up some Eldritch Moon boxes, but really what I'm most excited about and what this background back here is about is I'm going to be playing my wife's, well, she made it for me, Stranger Things deck. So it's not combo-y, it's just on theme. She went through and read the cards, and she put together something that I'm excited because I've only played it like twice now. And the first time I played it I had no idea what it was. But it's a Progenitus deck, but it's kind of on point and on theme. So I'm looking forward to doing that, just seeing what I can do with it. It's going to be fun. Strictly fun. No combos, no crazy stuff, just fun stuff.
Sounds crazy fun. Stranger Things. Like, I've looked in the mirror and seen Stranger Things too.
Speaking of Stranger Things.
All righty. I am at 420 subs now.
Nice.
And I am still putting together the giveaway for packs this box here. And grand prize will be a pre-con commander deck. And I'm going to get with people here pretty soon and find out which set they want the commander deck from. It'll be from either from Murders or it will be from the next set that's coming out. I'm going to leave that up to the person that wins the commander deck. And that's all I have to shield for now. Let's get to the shield master.
Shield master. Well, I want to thank you guys for chilling out with us today. Today is Friday, meaning there will be a video game stream tonight for Spider-Man at 8 p.m. There be another stream today? Probably not, because I'm tired. Kind of a late night last night. But other than that, we're going to have a blast today. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I want to thank you, everybody, like Cookie Dude right there.
Hey, I'm happy to be back. It's good seeing you guys again, and I can start getting back to a normal life. Because this stream is part of my weekly routine. I can't do it every day, but I can do it at least 4 times a week. And I'm learning a lot. I got to learn my new computer, which is difficult, but yeah. And I got to start trying to figure out where you guys are doing your streams and showing your skills. So thanks for having me back. Good to be back. And everybody who's not on screen, thanks for showing up.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody in chat for joining us and hanging out with us today and helping out with the conversation. You guys are awesome.
Yep.
And always thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing, new subscribers, and everybody who's been subscribed to you. Rock. You're awesome. And I want you to listen to the leader, Megatron.
Shockwave! What is your command, Megatron?
Subscribe for Magic the Gathering and other content for evil fun.
Fear not, Megatron.